feeling right now. Say it how you say it. Show me how I look in your heart. Better look amazing. Better look amazing.
Welcome, everybody, with the special episode of the Redeem Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Jared, and to my left, we got my wonderful co-host, Gina.
Hello.
Our special guest today who was so kind to allow us in her shop, which is Point5. Wait, how would you describe this, Jody? I want to make sure I get it right.
Point5 is a non-alcoholic bottle shop.
Non-alcoholic bottle shop, which is the first standalone of its kind here in Richmond, Virginia. The address is 3435 West Cary Street. So now that I got that out the way, everybody feeling good?
Feeling good?
Let's do some check-ins. Starting to my left, Gina, how are you?
I am great. This last week at work, everybody's been sick, so we're just getting through it together as a team. I feel like they're my family from hell right now. They're family.
Everybody going through it together.
Yeah.
Everybody on the healthy side now?
Yeah, we're all on the better side of things.
Good, I hope so, because you're sitting next to me.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
How are you? You the star of the show today, Jody. How are you?
Well, thank you. I'm great. Yeah, doing well.
Good.
Got to go and watch my son bowl for a little while last night,
Okay.
and dyed my daughter's hair black, which looks great. But yeah, it's been a good week so far.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
I love to hear it. And I'm doing well. This last week, well, it's only Tuesday, so let me just stop. So I just saw you Sunday.
Yeah.
So yesterday was eventful, and today, I'm looking forward to this conversation and how we can push forward the recovery mission right here in Richmond, Virginia, starting with this shop. So I guess we'll just get right to it.
Okay.
How did the idea come about to open a non-alcoholic bottle shop?
So the original idea started about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I've been going through kind of a sober curious thing for many, many years, and realized there's not a lot available. I was ordering a bunch of stuff online, and you're going by other people's reviews. We all have different palates, so it's very hard to buy something drink-wise just using somebody else's review. But I was buying a lot, and 75% of it I didn't really care for, and so couldn't send it back. So spending a lot of money. So that kind of set the seed of, wouldn't it be nice to have somewhere where people could at least try some things? My biggest concern back then was the fact that if you order something online and you don't like it, then your assumption is immediately that everything non-alcoholic tastes bad. It's like if you have, a bad non-alcoholic wine or beer, you just assume that they're all bad. And
right.
So two things can happen. You either just get on with drinking what you were drinking before, or you opt to go out and carry on drinking because you can't find something else you like. So that kind of set the seed for that. Move on 2 years. I'm also a realtor, so I got very busy in the 2020 and 2021 market, like we all realtors did. Mm-hmm. And then about a year ago, last November, I left the team that I was on, which gave me a little bit more time to focus back on this idea. And so I just started researching a lot, went up and visited all the non-alcoholic shops up in New York, kind of played around with the idea. This location became available. And it was literally, I had to pull the trigger within 24 hours to sign the lease.
Right.
And so I did it, and then thought, oh my God, I've got to do this now because I've signed a 3-year lease. And then it just kind of went from there. And so started formulating what I wanted to have, what I wanted to do for people that didn't have to do what I did and spend a lot of money on trying things. So that was the initial thought. And then there are all sorts of other reasons behind it as well. I went from being sober curious to stopping drinking completely. I have 4 friends in the last 2 years that have had liver transplants from drinking. And so there were some personal reasons that went into wanting to create this.
Right.
And so here we are.
Awesome. So you said you went up to New York and hung out with the sober scene there. What do you think when you went on that trip? What did you see there that was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing idea?
Yeah, well, the people that were coming into the shops, the people that were running the stores. New York's a totally different ballgame. Obviously, you've got the foot traffic from so many people. City never sleeps. But the reception that they were getting up there, and the owners of these shops were really great in talking to me and giving me some more insight. So not only did I visit them and see and chat, actually, I stayed in one of the shops for about an hour and got to talk to people that were coming in. And so I was doing my own kind of research while I was there. And then I spoke to, there are about 15 non-alcoholic bars in the country and about 18 non-alcoholic shops right now, somewhere around that amount in the country. So I just started picking up the phone and making calls and emailing people and getting their take on what they've seen from it. And so all of that, with all of those insights, I kind of put together all the things that I thought made sense. And then obviously different places, you know, some places in Brooklyn that were focusing much more on beer. So I tried to figure out what Richmond would need, and then kind of took all of those things and started to build the products I have now.
Okay. That's solid.
It's extensive market research. That is absolutely, I didn't realize there was only 18, standalone shops.
Yeah, I think.
In the entire, that is incredible. I would still think that, I don't know why I would just assume there's a lot more. Because it's such a fascinating idea, and there's so many people in recovery and sobriety.
Right. And I think there's going to be a lot more popping up. Like the whole, so the first bar I think was a bar in Austin.
Okay.
And
That's Austin,
Texas.
Okay.
And he opened his about 5 years ago. So he was really, really ahead of the game. And I've spent a lot of time on the phone with him. So he took a big risk. And then since then, these others have popped up. But I think in the last 2 years is where we've seen this huge growth. And now it's become much more of a movement, especially in Europe.
Right.
They're a little bit further ahead, fair bit further ahead. And so, but it's progressed over here. And then the West Coast started again. New York was definitely one of the first kind of states or areas to really take this to the next level. Okay. But now I think they're popping up. But you saying there's so many people in recovery.
Yes.
There are. And Richmond has one of the biggest recovery groups out of most cities. But there's also tons of people that just don't talk about it.
Right.
And so starting to do this, and people coming in and people calling and asking questions and emailing me, you realize that there are so many people that really want to change their relationship with alcohol, but they don't talk about it.
Right.
They don't talk about it because people then want to know why. And then it gets into all these questions, and sometimes we don't want to tell people why, or it's just none of their business.
Right.
So now it's like starting that conversation.
To recover out loud.
Yeah.
So that is actually why I got started with my mission. I didn't find my recovery in the rooms of AA or NA. I just didn't know where to look. So after my 7-year mark, I sat back and was like, well, how many other people are like me and have no idea, or they just didn't fit into those rooms and those spaces, or didn't find what they needed there. Right. So, it started with YouTube and then Instagram and then into a podcast to have those conversations, and either like sweatshirts that create that dialogue.
Right.
Because I could go into a store and they'll see, and like, oh my God, I just celebrated 2 months. I just celebrated a year. And then it's opening up for people to be not anonymous.
Yeah.
So you can have that, those conversations and really create some change. And you said something that it actually gave me a thought. It's like, oh wow, you really can change your relationship with alcohol.
Right.
You can come to this establishment, if a drinker like me, I don't know what I would do, because I would drink anything. But for the person that liked to sip on wine, or they really enjoyed, brown liquor, white liquor, whatever their choice was, they could come in here and there's a variety of options. Right. And they choose to get, the taste that they were looking for. Is that how you were too, or would you just tank out on anything?
I was a drink everything drinker, but my preference, if I went and bought alcohol, was predominantly wine or white liquors. Brown liquors, things happened. Always. So
Honest.
but at the end of the day, if I was just like, I was out of everything and I don't, whatever was there, that's what it was, that's what I was drinking. So.
See, I'm the opposite. It was always brown liquor. Bourbons, love my bourbon.
Really?
Yeah, but Manhattans, old fashions, but just bourbon, neat, would be my thing. And then like a full-bodied red wine.
Okay.
They'd be my go, and they don't mix well.
No.
It took me a long time to figure that out.
So you are in the restaurant industry.
Yes.
What are you seeing in your front when it comes to, like, how can we make these two things work hand in hand? Like, are you seeing a change in your industry where they're offering, like, this service?
We have a couple of different options. Nothing as spectacular as this, and something I'd like to have more conversation about afterwards, getting something into the restaurant. But we do. I do get questions all the time on our mocktails and our shrubs. And it'd be kind of cool if we actually had a non-alcoholic wine to offer. Because, family people like to come out and eat dinner, as we were talking, expectant mothers, maybe people who just are on certain medications and can't mix the two, but still want to feel like they're having, their dinner and wine and enjoyment that they're used to going out and enjoying. So I think it's an amazing option, and I'm really interested past this to look into it. So with Richmond, being where all of us are currently, what are you seeing like from the city to help kind of push this mission forward as well?
I mean, from the people that come in here, and it's been incredible.
Okay.
I had no idea what to expect. It was a big risk opening this. The feedback and people spreading the word has been phenomenal. Like, I can't say enough good things about how Richmond has been with this.
Awesome.
It's humbling and very grateful for it. I think that, to what you said, people really want to have other options when they go out to eat, and they don't want to have somebody just pour a sugary mocktail.
That's why I don't touch them. I'm not interested in them. All that sugar, it's obnoxious.
Part of the reason people, even if they're still drinking sometimes, that do this is because it is low calorie and low sugar and things like that too. So people want to have that elevated experience when they go. They're spending $20-$30 on dinner. They don't want to have a Diet Coke. They don't want to have an iced tea. They don't necessarily just want to have a glass of water. They want to have that experience. So getting this, that's definitely one of my plans, is trying to get just a couple of options on all bars and restaurants menus in the city, in the suburbs, so that I have customers that literally will go to eat where they have really good elevated non-alcoholic adult cocktails. So, it's becoming more and more, and people want to see that.
Awesome. Are you realizing that as well on your end?
I'm always surprised, how many different times I see the bartenders, whipping up mocktails or, whatever options we have. And I notice it more when we sell out of something. Let's say, our non-alcoholic beer gets sold out. And then you realize, oh gosh, I hope the order's coming in, because we're getting so many questions for that, throughout the week, and that's usually the big, like, oh, okay. But I same boat. I really don't like all of this sugar. I watch them make these mocktails. It's pretty much the base is sugar. And so that's why I've always avoided them. I won't even try them because it's just like, that's way too much. If we didn't already do enough to our liver, and pancreas with all of the sugar, from alcohol, I really don't want to contribute to that. So I really like these options. I really would love to have a non-alcoholic wine it tastes good, at the restaurant. I think that would be so cool. And that would make me feel, I don't know, a very personal touch is something I'm passionate about as well, being in sobriety, that I would love to just see the feedback and like customers knowing that that's an option. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. I think changing your relationship with alcohol too is huge. I was always of the mind frame that I got to remain abstinent, because I know myself, and I think being self-aware is, who I am. Like, I know that my addictive nature still resides like deep inside of me, because I know it was some of my actions, like, oh wait, that's the addict part coming out,
right.
Like hang tight. But for somebody, that sober, curious piece who may not know where to turn, they can come in here and you can offer them a solution almost.
Right.
Where they can try and not have to go cold turkey and, just stop right away.
Right. Well, I think especially if you are in the sober, curious mindset, having somewhere where you can go and try things and you have those options so you can cut back a little bit. And I'm not by any means say that people got to be all or nothing. I'm all or nothing. I'm sober right now. Like you, I can't do the moderation thing. It doesn't work for me. So, I've cut it out completely. But for a lot of people, it's still like I'm not quite ready to be there. And I belong to a lot of communities online that I joined years ago. And that's where people are. They're not quite ready to say, I'm done forever. But if you've got other options so that you can start kind of cutting back. And what a lot of my people that still drinking do is they'll do an ounce of theirs, ounce of their gin, an ounce of my gin. They've had 2 drinks at night, but they've only had the equivalent of 1. And then gradually, once you start getting used to the non-alcoholic flavors and they're not as heavy as their alcohol counterpart. But then you start adding more of the non-alcoholic and less of yours until you start, bringing it down. But once you've got options, you can make those choices. And that's no longer part of the excuse where there aren't any options out there, so I'm just going to carry on drinking. So kind of, that's one less excuse you have.
Right.
And the same thing if it's on bars and restaurants, menus. You go out, you have a couple of drinks, that should be it. You're driving home. Well, then you can have something that's Negroni or an old fashioned. It's just 0 proof. So you can still stay out. You can still be out longer, but you're just doing it in a more mindful way. So I could go on forever about all of this stuff.
Waking up feeling so much better, not, wondering why you've...
I salute to the person who can drink mindfully because I know now, in recovery, right? Like I know when it's time for me to leave, the bar, the restaurant. I think my first time out in years was a couple weekends ago. I'm a huge Eagles fan. So a couple of old friends got me to come out the house for a minute, just a little bit, y'all. Don't get mad at me. I left the house. They gave me crap because they'll invite me and I don't go nowhere. But I went out. And, I gave a few of my buddies a ride there, right? And this is how, old habits die hard. When the game was over, I'm paying my bill for my food. I'm like, hey, y'all ready to go? And they both looked at each other like, nah, we're going to stay. Like, all right, see y'all later. Like, I'm getting out of here. But it's those things, in my active days, I would have stayed till the bar shut down right along with them.
Right.
But it does teach me that, if there was something such as this on the menu, like maybe I could have joined the party, so to say.
Yeah, comfortably stay out because it does get uncomfortable when you're sober and you're out. Well, for a lot of people, it does for me a little bit. I mean, I'm good for a few hours, like you're saying, but then
a few hours. I got 1 hour cap.
Well, I've totally become a recluse since I stopped drinking. Just initially, and I'm hoping that will change. But I think at first, it had to be. Like, I didn't want to put myself in those situations where I would just say, oh, tonight I'll have some drinks.
I got a perfect place to chime back in.
Okay.
Is that I recently saw that you are also opening up the space toward events to host events and such. You share a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just added that to our website last week. So we'll be doing events in here for like private tastings. We'll do it after hours, so starting at 6 o'clock. Private tastings, and then there'll be another level of that where people can come in and we'll have a mixologist in here and we'll actually do a little bit of education, just kind of explaining things like the fact that when you go to non-alcoholic goods, it's like going full fat to skim milk because you lose that weight. So, just kind of explaining things so people get their head around what they're ready to taste. Teach people to make a couple of cocktails and they can tell me what they want to do, or if they're in here more for a wine tasting or beer tastings or the spirits. So, and then we're also going to other people's locations. People can do it in the house, people can do it at work, whether it's a team building, baby showers, whatever it may be, where people just have fun with it. You have your paint and sip and things like that. Well, this would just be coming in and getting to understand this industry, learning how to make your cocktails, non-alcoholic cocktails. So yeah, we're getting into the events, and I'm excited about that.
So there was a word. Our first time when Kyle and I approached you a week or two ago now, you were breaking down that some of the bottles have like active. It was a word. What was the word, Kyle?
Some kind of active elements.
Active elements or something
okay.
you described?
Yeah, I was like, for a minute, I was probably talking some kind of like nonsense. Yeah, so we do. So we have functional spirits.
Functional spirits. Functional spirits.
Functional spirits. So functional spirits are basically, a functional spirit is anything that changes the way you feel. So for example, caffeine. Caffeine is a functional ingredient because it's going to give you that focus and it's going to keep you awake and things like that. So nootropics and adaptogens are all things that people look for as supplements in, and so a lot of that are in these functional spirits. So they will have ingredients, 5-HTP and L-theanine and GABA, and just things that are very good for you. They do give you a natural focus. They do kind of give you a feeling of excitement and happiness and joy and mood elevation and different things like that. They also can help you feel calm.
Okay.
So they don't necessarily have to have the CBD in them, but they have those natural ingredients that can help you feel, a calm at the end of the day. You go home, you pour yourself an non-alcoholic cocktail, and they're giving you that sort of same feeling that you may get from your first
like the
glass
warm
of wine.
rush.
That little bit of, and so that's a very popular, because they're wellness drinks. Great flavors, great alternatives.
So there's a healthy benefit from sipping on these as well.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And especially the ones that have the CBD in them, terpenes and reishi mushrooms, and again, just things that are really good for you. That you can get, people will go out and actually buy them in pill form, but now you can drink them.
So, you know who else talks about stuff like this all the time?
Who?
Gina.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you're all about putting everything that's very good for you in your body.
Yes, I mean, we don't realize how many minerals and vitamins we rob from our actual bones in our body through misuse on that. So I first got, interested because I wanted to replace minerals and vitamins that, would help with sleep, and, that mood stabilizing.
Right.
There's so many things we rob that actually very much attribute to why our mood is so erratic and why we feel like we're in a fog right after we stop drinking and doing drugs for me as well. So where it's like you just feel like you're here, but you're not here, and you're just like, well, what is this? So the more I read into it, I realized how important it is to replace things and then to also give your body these things on a regular basis so that you're functioning at your highest. Because I didn't want to, my goal has never been to just want to be normal. Like that's never been it for me. That's never going to be my goal ever. And so I wanted to know, okay, now I'm sober, so what is the highest form of my sobriety that I can, express myself in? And that became with the alertness and the awareness and happiness and feeling calm, and having the energy and waking up, realizing I was a morning person again after a decade. That in fact I do like the mornings, and I don't want to kill birds, and I'm not cussing people out of my head who I feel have disturbed my erratic sleep,
Right.
And
it's too funny.
And so those things are very important. So this fascinates me. I love that idea, not only, just having something that you're like, that's an interesting taste that reminds me of, but actually having something that imparts so much, it imbues, wealth and health of life force into you. So I love that.
You see how she just took that and ran with it? I knew she would love it. I knew it.
But that's part, I think when you're putting all that good stuff in your body, it also helps you not want to go back to drinking or drink a lot because you're feeling good. And I think part of that drinking is you wake up, you feel crappy, you make it through the day, you're going to have something to make you feel better temporarily.
Because you're in the cycle of seeking
yeah.
relief. And it's like, I'm uncomfortable and I'm seeking relief. And I think, waking up and, starting to realize that, the peace and the well-being, like I started to get addicted to that because it had been so long. I was a person that was literally just like barely sleeping, barely functioning, all over the place. And it's just like, I look back and it was the same cycle, but to me it always felt new and novel. Like I'm gonna drink randomly at this time. I'm gonna do this randomly. It was all the same random shit, in different cycles of chaos. So having, that sense of just waking up and feeling really good, that's part of my sobriety. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I meditate or I take a nap. I will be around family. I'm like, hey guys, I love you all, but I really need nap time now. It's for my mental health. And it's great. I know me now, so that's really important.
Right.
That's what sobriety has brought me, so.
Being self-aware and all the other joyous things you just described.
Not being a mean person for the most part. I can still act out if I need to put my foot down, but I
Still
don't.
mean as hell.
I was just really on another level of just not being very consciously aware and capable of being a functional human being in society. I remember perfect strangers. I have like glimpses of people like, what is wrong with you? I've literally had that, and I'm like, what? Say something. So I definitely, I'm on the other side of that, the peace, the well-being, the accountability, and the happiness. Like, I'm really, really happy on a regular basis. I didn't even know that was something that was going to come about, because I was so miserable. I was so miserable. Like, I just didn't like people, I thought. I didn't like going out, I thought, after a while. I didn't like anything, and because I didn't like me.
That which is always
Who
the
knew?
issue.
The world is actually a very nice place. People are really cool.
I will say that, to that point, like the people that come in here that have stopped or are cutting back, I can't tell you, they are the nicest, calmest, happiest people. And there's so much to that. Because when I was drinking and would go in the ABC store, the people that were in there were not nearly as happy and friendly and patient as the people that are sober and shopping in here. I'm not going to generalize. I don't want to say that everyone that drinks is one way and everyone that doesn't, because that's not true.
Right,
but there's definitely an element where people are just calmer and more positive and see the good in things, and that.
It's inspiring.
It's incredibly inspiring, yeah.
I
It really
actually,
is.
for the restaurant, have had to go to the ABC many years after being sober, that I'm sitting around, walking around the aisles, and I'm like, oh, this is so funny. And I have noticed a whole different tune, the feel, the people who are coming in, buying whatever, and that was something that I remember just being aware, looking around and being like, how would I have fit into this moment, before? Because I was just so like, vodka, register, home, fuck off world, And so I just never really paid attention to even who was in an ABC store.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I found it's like a whole different world. It's like getting invited into a club that I have like this awesome membership card, and like the perspective I get to see now, and the people I get to encounter, and all the things that I remember. My greatest party gift is I remember the whole night.
I know that's
I remember everything. And I get home safely, and I'm dependable, because that's where people want to call me at 2 a.m. when they're holding up brick walls outside of the club.
for you to
can't
come
figure out a
rescue
Lyft
them, right?
or an Uber.
I know that. I think entering the liquor stores now that I've been sober 9 years, I don't go often, but my wife needed something for like vacation. I'd go in, and you always get the crammy, like, oh my God, like, what am I doing here? This is so weird. Like, I feel almost like underage trying to buy it because it's not for me. You know what I'm saying?
I promise you it's not for me.
Yeah, like, it's not mine. Don't worry about it. But when I walked in here, like how you have, your establishment set up, I didn't feel uncomfortable. I immediately walked in and was like wowed by like how you put this together.
Thank you.
No, you more than welcome. Like, it is amazing. So
It's inviting.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, that's
I like the
word.
layout. Yes.
That's what
Inviting.
I wanted it to be. I want people to come in and feel like they're just at home, and we can pour samples and we can chat and we can laugh, and people tell me stories and they tell me about their sobriety, and I tell people probably way too much, more than they want to know. But that's how I always wanted it to be, where it's just a very comfortable feeling. And if you buy something, that's wonderful. But if you just want to come in and see what it's all about and talk, that's wonderful too.
Best of both, which brings us to the next, I guess, task here on this podcast. You brought out a couple bottles for us.
Yeah.
Which one are we going to pop open first?
All right, so we'll do the Amethyst.
Amethyst.
So this is blueberry mint, and ginger.
Blueberry, mint, and ginger. Is this a
Yes.
functional spirit?
This is not.
Okay.
It's just a regular, it's not trying to be anything. You could mix it however you want to do it. Obviously, you're just going to have it straight. And you could drink this just on the rocks too. Would you like to taste it too?
I did. I got into it over there, and I would like another one. Thank you, please.
So
Smells delicious.
I just hired a wonderful lady called Tyler. Her name's Taylor. I told you I couldn't
it's
think
a
this
fancy
morning.
accent,
Her name's
though.
Taylor.
I heard Taylor.
Anyway, Taylor is, she bought this a couple of weeks ago and she mixes it with mint. She muddles mint and blueberries and then pours that on top with some ice and then a little ginger ale.
It's got a
Ginger
kick.
ale.
Bottoms up. That is
Isn't that
really
interesting, right? I think that's my favorite so far.
good. That is really good.
You like that?
And what was that called?
It's called Amethyst.
Amethyst.
And they have this version and then they have a lemon, serrano, and ginger. I think that's
Okay.
got ginger into. I can't remember what that
So
one
if
is.
you
Got
had
that
to,
spice. It's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of them will put that spice in there because it does replicate what you're used to having
burn
with
of
a burn of a
alcohol,
drink.
yes.
Yeah.
oh yeah, go off the
right.
deep rails, Jared.
All right. So the
What
next
do we
one.
got next?
Next one. This is called Black Ginger. It's by Tennyson's.
Okay.
And the owners of both of these companies, all of these three are just phenomenal people. Super cool. That's another thing I have to say about this industry because it's so small still. You get to know each other and everyone wants to see everyone else succeed.
Really?
There is nothing about
It's not
wanting
crab
to-
in a barrel
No,
mentality.
I love it. It's like
Awesome.
everyone just wants everyone to do well.
Thank you.
And it's all about the cause and just getting these drinks out there for people to enjoy.
All right, and this one was called
Tennyson Black
Tennyson
Ginger,
Black Ginger.
plant-based,
Write it
0%.
down.
Speaking my language.
Shots again. Thoughts on that one? You don't have to like them all. I don't like everything I carry in here, but I
No, that
carry
was
it for
good.
different tastes.
That was good. It had like a. It's
weird, but I like
a
it.
tart,
Yeah, yeah.
like a little tang to it. But I could see where this would be beneficial.
You're like, look back in
you
here.
know, tang. You know.
Yeah.
So I like this on the rocks, but people will mix it with any kind of, I don't know, like that liquid death.
Liquid Death.
Any kind of.
It's a sparkling
Seltzer.
bubbly one.
Ah, they got some new shit out.
They've done some good stuff. It looks like a tall boy and it looks kind of cool, so people
Okay.
can carry it.
Yeah, I've been at the bars and I went through 6 liquid death cans one day. And I'm like, girl, you were not drinking like even beer. Stop it. I'm like, I love this.
They've done great, Mark.
Yeah.
Really great.
So is it more like coffee style or just mad caffeine in it?
Water in a can.
Just
Water?
seltzer,
Oh,
it's just
just
seltzer
water.
water, yeah.
the way it's called is liquid death, you know?
Damn. Marketing.
They have it at Cobra, where I go, and Don't Look Back, where I get tacos.
Okay.
So,
I'll have to keep that in mind.
They have it behind the bar there?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cobra has really great food, late night, fun, get together. So that, I love that they have that water there.
Yeah, that's cool.
What do we got next?
All right, so this
Looking at
next one is called Pathfinder.
And this was I think I tried this one last time.
Did
I came
you?
in. Yeah.
Okay, so some people will say that it reminds them a little bit of Jaeger.
Yeah, that's the one. I sat outside and said, man, I can't tell if I'm excited.
Should I pour you any or not? Or should we skip
take
this
some.
one?
You know what? We're in it for the fun today.
All right.
This will come with a warning.
So I do this with, I'm really basic with my drinks. I just do it with tonic and lime, but people will mix it with different fruit juices and get kind of creative with
Now,
it.
see, I like the simplicity, where you just have this.
I'm very, yeah.
Right, because I think it really enhances the flavor when you're not overriding with a bunch of fruit, bunch of sugar, bunch of
Right.
this, bunch of that. So
1 + 1 will always equal 2. I keep it simple.
I don't know. They have like no numbers now.
Yep, that would bring back some memories.
Like I said, not everything is for
Does
everybody.
it have grapefruit in it?
Does it have what?
Grapefruit, like bitter grapefruit. on the back end, like
I
that
don't have
weird,
my glasses
that
on.
weird.
I don't remember
Me
if it has
either.
it in there.
We're gonna
white-
ask
the
Kyle
white
and Aaron.
glitter.
They're hanging out. They want to come check this bottle for grapefruit.
Gonna be,
So Gina.
be squinting here. So it's the hemp seed. So there's nothing in it that's going to be that's going to be change the way you feel. It's not functional spirit. Wormwood,
So it's placebo
Uh,
ginger,
effect.
sage, saffron, orange peel.
Someone's
Maybe
put
that's
a peel.
what
It's
you're
a
tasting.
So we just
citrus
drank
peel.
medicine.
This is a citrus peel. Yeah, I've tasted it. I'm gonna combine it. Okay,
Great
that's really cool.
Again, really good
Right.
ingredients that are just very good for you.
That'll help you fight off the flu.
So, are any of these
Yes.
functional
It's
spirits?
going to totally fight off the flu.
Are any of these that we tried functional spirits?
No, they are not. They are not. The functional spirit would be the 3 spirit. Do you want me to grab one of those?
Yeah,
That's really good too.
I'm just like really intrigued by the concept of a functional
just-
spirit. I feel like it's elite. I only drink functional spirits.
You got to drink it
On
with
the
your
rocks.
pinky up. Functional spirits only.
All right, so this is 3 spirit, and they are all about the functional spirits. They have this is their daytime energizing. It does have some caffeine in it.
Okay.
And then they
Day drinking.
There we go.
then there you go.
Thank you.
Then they have a nighttime one as well, which really helps people sleep.
Ready?
How long's it been since you guys have done shots in the day?
Shit. 9 and some change years.
Well, I do apple cider shots. I call shots in my house, and then I force everybody to take.
Ready?
That's good for you too.
It tastes like the communion cup at church, but I'm waiting for the functional
spicy?
side.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little spice.
I like that spice that
You,
they're putting.
come
Again,
on.
you can cut that a little bit.
Wait, y'all know what the communion cup at church is?
I've never had it.
You haven't? No. Okay. So the communion cup, never mind. Never mind.
That's so funny. Is that what it tastes like?
Yeah, a little bit without the functional side though.
So that's what so now when people come in, I can say, this one tastes like. I don't know if that, is that going to be a selling point? Or
Yeah,
is that
go
going to
ahead.
be
It is not.
Mark
I
it.
don't think so.
Watch us sell that bottle. Yo, you want the church vibes in a bottle? Right here. The communion cup.
All right, and then this came from, I'm down to 1 cup, so you guys, do you mind sharing?
I got an extra one right here.
yeah,
Got a
just-
whole clean the
Okay, well,
palate.
I don't think
Okay,
it'll mess with
all
the
right.
taste too much.
So then this is just like
You
a
are
little
talented.
mini champagne. This is from Europe.
Because don't you have a bottle in your fridge
I
already?
do. I bought a bottle of rosé, and it's just staring at me every time I open the fridge. So we celebrate.
That is so weird.
Did you already drink yours?
Sorry, I got excited. It's not shots. If
Functional spirit.
And that's what the
reminds me of
functional spirit does for you.
Right.
It gets you really excited.
very much a brute likening to that.
Isn't that?
Definitely tastes like champagne.
Yeah.
That is.
It's
That's
really good.
bizarre,
Wild.
right?
Yeah, the European ones have done. I mean, I've got some great California ones and stuff, but a lot of the European wines have done really well.
Wow.
That was truly amazing. I could see now the tasting these bottles that you laid out for us, how somebody really trying to find a new healthy relationship with alcohol can come in here and find something fit to what they would like to drink on, at home or whether they're going out or not. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those with
You're
us.
welcome.
So as we begin to wrap up, you got any further questions?
Where can I buy my own? No. I really
Not
am.
giving
I
away
think
the
I'm gonna,
sauce.
I think I'm gonna, no, I mean from here, I think I'm gonna get the champagne split. Do you have it in full size or just a split?
That one is in the small, and then I do have other ones that are full size.
Full sizes.
Yeah.
Is it brute based or, okay, I love that. That's the only type of champagne I ever drank was the dry, crisp, non-sweet. And I'm definitely gonna get a bottle of, I think the amethyst or maybe the functional spirit, because I can literally say I drink functional spirits. I feel like there's something to that.
Are you functioning?
I'm functioning.
Feel the function.
Spiritually.
Not gonna lie.
Too funny.
But
Well-
I am so honored. I'm so glad you guys, invited me to this. So
course.
Thank you.
I'm definitely going to be back.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to having a red wine in the restaurant to start. So
And
we'll
Brilliant.
talk.
we'll
Yeah,
have to
great.
most
Thank
certainly piece together an event have you coordinated for us. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
So you can find us at, I'm going to go blank again, at Point5RVA. That's the website and my Instagram. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, before we head out, I and Gina came with some gifts.
Oh, you did?
This one says booze-free badass.
Oh, I love it.
Felt
I
like,
love it.
and we got you a matching coffee mug.
This will be my shop coffee mug. So
There you
everyone
go.
that comes in will know that that I too am booze free.
Thank
you guys so
Awesome.
much.
Nah, you were
I
so
really
welcome.
appreciate that. It's awesome.
Thank you all. Redeem Yourself Podcast here, 0.5, 3435 West Cary Street, Richmond, Virginia.
Thanks.